watching my digital video presentation on critical literacy. In order to make this presentation a little more exciting than me just standing here and telling you about critical literacy, I created a PowerPoint on critical literacy that we will go through. The main resources for this presentation are Joan Wink's book, Critical Pedagogy, and Critical Literacy in Early Childhood Education by Elizabeth Quintero. I also use other academic journal articles that will be referenced later. I'm going to start off explaining what critical literacy is, give some background information, and finish with a real-life example of critical literacy. Let's get started. What exactly is critical literacy? When I think of the term literacy, I automatically think of reading and writing. Critical literacy does involve reading and writing, but it is much more than just reading and writing. Critical literacy involves seeing, thinking, understanding, and knowing. Wink refers to reading the word and reading the world several times in her book. Reading the word is what most people think of when they think of the term literacy. Reading the word includes skills such as decoding words, comprehension, and fluent reading. Reading the world involves decoding the people around us, understanding the community that surrounds us, and being able to decode visible messages of our world. Here are some more definitions that help me understand critical literacy better. Wink sums up her definition by writing, "Critical literacy is teaching so that we come to understand ourselves, others, and the world more deeply." When Creighton talks about critical literacy, she writes, "Not only should students learn to decode text, they need to learn to assess those texts and read their world." Quintero believes that critical literacy is a process of reading history, the world, and creating history, what you believe to be important. So, to tie it all together, critical literacy, what I believe it to be, is a process of using language, which should be both oral and written, as a means of expression, communication, and transformation for ourselves and those in our world around us. I also believe that critical literacy takes us out of our bubble zone of society. How can we effectively teach and understand all of our students when we know nothing about their culture, their family life, or their heritage? And how can we expect our students to embrace and be tolerant of other cultures when all we read about and study revolves around Americans and our culture? Literacy can be a path for learning about others and teaching tolerance, acceptance, and respect. And through critical literacy, we can achieve transformative teaching and learning while building our students' problem-solving skills and critical thinking skills. How do we come to critical literacy? I think we've always been headed on a track towards critical literacy, and that critical literacy has a rich history in progressive education. We started with Vygotsky, Dewey, and Freire, and they all led the way for critical literacy. Callison writes in his article, "Progressive education has been based on providing students not merely with functional skills, but with the conceptual tools necessary to critique and engage society along with its inequalities and injustices." These progressive teachers that I just mentioned realized that learning goes deeper than memorization and valued the importance of thinking critically, problem solving, analyzing, and interpreting. So keep that in your mind and listen to the 6 key components of critical literacy that Quintero talks about. They are questioning, making connections, describing the learner, evaluating learning, making personal connections, and problem solving. These 6 components of critical literacy sound a lot like the ideas that Vygotsky, Dewey, and Freire all believed in. Critical literacy and critical pedagogy go hand in hand together. If you believe in critical pedagogy and practice transformative teaching in your classroom, critical literacy should be easy to implement. Let's take a look at how critical pedagogy and critical literacy are similar. Wink defines critical pedagogy as good interactive teaching in the real world. So let's think about the real world. Who and what is our real world comprised of? According to Samway McCowan, language might 1993 to 1994 school year in this category. And Quintero writes that by the year 2030, over half of the students in schools in the United States will be students of multicultural and multilingual backgrounds. So what does this mean to us? It means that as teachers, we cannot simply ignore the minorities in our classroom and teach their standard reading programs that at best make feeble attempts at trying to include other cultures. We must practice critical literacy in our classrooms. Reading the world through critical literacy and problem posing helps us find ways of learning, knowing and understanding people's life experiences, their heritage, their beliefs, their customs, and their family lives. A fact that I read several times while researching critical literacy is that critical literacy can be a powerful tool for learning and instruction for English language learners. It is helpful for English language learners because it teaches these students and all of your other students to question, make connections, describe, evaluate, solve problems, and make personal connections to the literature. Critical pedagogy and critical literacy also share these same beliefs. The importance of choice. We know that Wink is a big proponent of using student interest and choice as the driving force behind the curriculum. Wink writes, if it doesn't matter to the learners, it just doesn't matter. When Quintero is discussing critical literacy, she writes, relating the issue of book choice, censorship, and children's reading to critical literacy, it must be noted that children should be the key participants in their own learning and their choice of reading material should be theirs. Choice is important for students of all ages. And as teachers, our job is to provide our students with a variety of literature that represents all cultures, lifestyles, and genders. Here are some more things that critical pedagogy and critical literacy have in common. The importance of transformative learning and therefore transformative action. The importance of giving a voice to all. The importance of the teacher also being a learner and not the sole dispenser of knowledge. And the importance of democracy in education. So, critical literacy is a part of critical pedagogy. In our changing society, critical pedagogy is very important in ensuring democracy and equality for all. In our society, critical pedagogy is essential for building critical thinking skills and for making learning an active process. The need for critical pedagogy